Sonnets by William Lisle Bowles. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Sonnets written chiefly during various journeys. Sonnet 1. Written at Tinemouth, Northumberland, after a tempestuous voyage, by William Lisle Bowles. As slow I climb the cliff's ascending side, much musing on the track of terror past, when o'er the dark wave rode the howling blast, pleased I look back and view the tranquil tide that laves the pebbled shore, and now the beam of evening smiles on the grey battlement, and yon forsaken tower that time has rent. The lifted oar far off with silver gleam is touched, and hushed is all the billowy deep. Soothed by the scene, thus on tired nature's breast a stillness slowly steals, and kindred rest, while sea sounds lull her as she sinks to sleep, like melodies which mourn upon the lyre, waked by the breeze, and, as they mourn, expire. End of poem. Read by Alan Mapstone. Sonnet 2. At Bamborough Castle, by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. Ye holy towers that shade the wave-worn steep, long may ye rear your aged brows sublime, though, hurrying silent by, relentless time assail you, and the winter whirlwinds sweep. For far from blazing grandeur's crowded halls, here charity hath fixed her chosen seat, oft listening tearful when the wild winds beat, with hollow bodings round your ancient walls. And pity at the dark and stormy hour of midnight, when the moon is hid on high, keeps her lone watch upon the topmost tower, and turns her ear to each expiring cry. Blest if her aid some fainting wretch might save, and snatch him cold and speechless from the wave. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Sonnet 3. To the River Wensbeck, by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. While slowly wanders thy sequestered stream, Wensbeck, the mossy scattered rocks among, in fancy's ear still making plaintive song to the dark woods above, that waving seem to bend o'er some enchanted spot. Removed from life's vain coil, I listen to the wind, and think I hear meek sorrow's plaint, reclined o'er the forsaken tomb of one she loved. Fair scenes, ye lend a pleasure long unknown to him who passes weary on his way. The farewell tear, which now he turns to pay, shall thank you, and whene'er of pleasures flown, his heart some long-lost image would renew, delightful haunts he will remember you. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 4 to the River Tweed by William Lisle Boyles. Read for LibriVox.org by Tobe. O Tweed, a stranger, that with wandering feet o'er hill and dale has journeyed many a mile, if so his weary thoughts he might beguile. The lighted thorns thy beauteous scenes to greet, the waving branches that romantic bend o'er thy tall banks a soothing charm bestow. The murmurs of thy wandering wave below seem to his ear the pity of a friend. Delightful streams, though now along thy shore, when spring returns in all her wonted pride, the shepherd's distant pipe is heard no more. Yet here with pensive peace could I abide, far from the stormy world's tumultuous roar, to muse upon thy banks at eventide. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 5 by William Lisle Boyles. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Evening, as slow thy placid shades descend, veiling with gentlest hush the landscape still, the lonely battlement, and farthest hill and wood, I think of those that have no friend, who now, perhaps, by melancholy led from the broad blaze of day, where pleasure flaunts, retiring, wander mid thy lonely haunts unseen, and watch the tints that o'er thy bed hang lovely, to their pensive fancy's eye, presenting fairy vales, where the tired mind might rest beyond the murmurs of mankind, nor hear the hourly moans of misery. Ah, beauteous views, that hope's fair gleams the while should smile like you, and perish as they smile. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 6 on leaving a village in Scotland by William Lisle Boyles. Read for LibriVox.org. Clydesdale, as thy romantic vales I leave, and bid farewell to each retiring hill, where fond attention seems to linger still, tracing the broad bright landscape, much I grieve that, mingled with the toiling crowd, no more I may return your varied views to mark, of rocks amid the sunshine towering dark, of rivers winding wild and mountains hoar, or castle gleaming on the distant steep. For this a look back on thy hills I cast, and many a softened image of the past pleased I combine, and bid remembrance keep, to soothe me with fair views and fancies rude, when I pursue my path in solitude. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Sonnet 7 to the River Itchen near Winton by William Lisle Boyles. Read for LibriVox.org. Itchen, when I behold thy banks again, thy crumbling margin, and thy silver breast, on which the self-same tints still seem to rest, why feels my heart the shivering sense of pain? Is it that many a summer's day has passed since in life's morn I carolled on thy side? Is it that oft since then my heart has sighed as youth and hope's delusive gleams flew fast? Is it that those who circled on thy shore, companions of my youth, now meet no more? Whate'er the cause, upon thy banks I bend, sorrowing, yet feel such solace at my heart, as at the meeting of some long-lost friend, from whom, in happier hours, we wept to part. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 8 by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. O poverty! Though from thy haggard eye, thy cheerless mien of every charm bereft, thy brow that hope's last traces long have left, vain fortune's feeble sons with terror fly. I love thy solitary haunts to seek, for pity, reckless of her own distress, and patience in the pall of wretchedness, that turns to the bleak storm her faded cheek, and piety that never told her wrong, and meek content whose griefs no more rebel, and genius warbling sweet her saddest song, and sorrow listening to a lost friend's knell, long banished from the world's insulting throng. With thee and thy unfriended offspring dwell. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 9 at Dover Cliffs by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. On these white cliffs that, calm above the flood, uplift their shadowing heads, and at their feet scarce hear the surge that has for ages beat, sure many a lonely wanderer has stood. And whilst the lifted murmur met his ear, and o'er the distant billows the still eve sailed slow, has thought of all his heart must leave to-morrow, of the friends he loved most dear, of social scenes from which he wept to part. But if, like me, he knew how fruitless all the thoughts that would full fain the past recall, soon would he quell the risings of his heart, and brave the wild winds and unhearing tide, the world his country, and his God his guide. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 10 at Ostend, Landing, July 21st, 1787, by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. The orient beam illumes the parting oar. From yonder azure track, emerging white, the earliest sail slow gains upon the sight, and the blue wave comes rippling to the shore. Meantime, far off, the rear of darkness flies. Yet, mid the beauties of the morn, unmoved, like one forever torn from all he loved, towards Albion's heights I turn my longing eyes, where every pleasure seemed erewhile to dwell. Yet boots it not to think or to complain, musing sad ditties to the reckless main, To dreams like these, adieu! The pealing bell speaks of the hour that stays not, and the day, to life's sad turmoil, calls my heart away. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 11, At Ostend, by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Patrick Randall. July 22nd, 1787. How sweet the tuneful bell's responsive peal, as when at opening morn the fragrant breeze breathes on the trembling sense of wan disease, so piercing to my heart their force I feel. And hark, with lessening cadence now they fall, and now along the white and level tide they fling their melancholy music wide, bidding me many a tender thought recall of summer days, and those delightful years when by my native streams in life's fair prime the mournful magic of their mingling chime first waked my wondering childhood into tears. But seeming now, when all those days are o'er, the sounds of joy once heard, and heard no more. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 12, On the River Rhine, by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. 'Twas morn, and beauteous on the mountain's brow, hung with the beamy clusters of the vine, streamed the blue light, when on the sparkling Rhine we bounded, and the white waves round the prow in murmurs parted, varying as we go. Lo, the woods open and the rocks retire, some convent's ancient walls or glistening spire, mid the bright landscape's track unfolding slow. Here, dark with furrowed aspect, like despair, frowns the bleak cliff. There on the woodland's side the shadowy sunshine pours its streaming tide, whilst hope, enchanted with the scene so fair, would wish to linger many a summer's day, nor heeds how fast the prospect winds away. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 13, At a Convent, by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. If chance some pensive stranger hither led, his bosom glowing from majestic views, the gorgeous dome, or the proud landscape's hues, should ask who sleeps beneath this lowly bed, 'tis poor Matilda. To the cloistered scene a mourner, beauteous and unknown, she came, to shed her tears unmarked, and quench the flame of fruitless love. Yet was her look serene, as the pale moonlight in the midnight aisle. Her voice was soft, which yet a charm could lend, like that which spoke of a departed friend, and a meek sadness sat upon her smile. Now far removed from every earthly ill, her woes are buried, and her heart is still. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 14, O Time, by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. O time, who knowest a lenient hand to lay softest on sorrow's wound, and slowly thence, lulling to sad repose the weary sense, the faint pang stealest unperceived away. On thee I rest my only hope at last, and think when thou hast dried the bitter tear that flows in vain o'er all my soul held dear, I may look back on every sorrow past, and meet life's peaceful evening with a smile, as some lone bird at day's departing hour sings in the sunbeam of the transient shower, forgetful, though its wings are wet the while. Yet how much must that poor heart endure, which hopes from thee, and thee alone, a cure. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Sonnet 15, Languid and Sad, by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. Languid and sad and slow from day to day, I journey on, yet pensive turn to view where the rich landscape gleams with softer hue, the streams and vales and hills that steal away. So fares it with the children of the earth, for when life's goodly prospect opens round, their spirits beat to tread that fairy ground, where every vale sounds to the pipe of mirth. But them vain hope and easy youth beguiles, and soon a longing look, like me, they cast back on the pleasing prospect of the past. Yet fancy points where still far onward smiles some sunny spot, and her fair coloring blends, till cheerless on their path the night descends. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 16, On a Distant View of England, by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Jennifer Beckett Wood. Ah, from mine eyes the tears unbidden start, as thee, my country, and the long-lost sight of thy own cliffs that lift their summits white above the wave, once more my beating heart with eager hope and filial transport hails. Scenes of my youth, reviving gales ye bring, as where erewhile the tuneful morn of spring joyous awoke amidst your blooming vales, and filled with fragrance every painted plain. Fled are those hours and all the joys they gave, yet still I gaze, and count each rising wave that bears me nearer to your haunts again. If haply, mid those woods and vales so fair, stranger to peace, I yet may meet her there. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 17, To the River Cherwell, Oxford, by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. Cherwell, how pleased along thy willowed hedge ere while I strayed, or when the morn began to tinge the distant turret's gleamy fan, or evening glimmered o'er the sighing sedge. And now, reposing on thy banks once more, I bid the pipe farewell, and that sad lay, whose music on my melancholy way I wooed amid thy waving willows hoar, seeking a while to rest, till the bright sun of joy return, as when heaven's beauteous bow beams on the night storm's passing wings below. Whate'er betide, yet something have I won of solace that may bear me on serene till eve's last hush shall close the silent scene. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 18, As One Who Long by Wasting Sickness Worn, by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. As one who long by wasting sickness worn, weary has watched the lingering night, and heard heartless the carol of the matin bird salute his lonely porch, now first at morn goes forth, leaving his melancholy bed. He the green slope and level meadow views, delightful, bathed with slow ascending dews, or marks the clouds that o'er the mountain's head in varying forms fantastic wander white, or turns his ear to every random song, heard the green river's winding marge along, the whilst each sense is steeped in still delight. With such delight o'er all my heart I feel sweet hope, thy fragrance pure and healing incense steal. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 19 by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. October 1792. Go then, and join the roaring city's throng. Me thou dost leave to solitude and tears, to busy fantasies and boding fears, lest ill betide thee. But 'twill not be long, and the hard season shall be past. Till then, live happy, sometimes the forsaken shade remembering, and these trees now left to fade. Nor mid the busy scenes and hum of men wilt thou my cares forget. In heaviness to me the hours shall roll, weary and slow, till mournful autumn past, and all the snow of winter pale. The glad hour I shall bless that shall restore thee from the crowd again, to the green hamlet in the peaceful plain.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 20 by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. November 1792. There is strange music in the stirring wind when lowers the autumnal eve, and all alone to the dark wood's cold covert thou art gone, whose ancient trees on the rough slope reclined rock, and at times scatter their tresses sere. If in such shades beneath their murmuring thou late hast passed the happier hours of spring, with sadness thou wilt mark the fading year, chiefly if one with whom such sweets at morn or eve thou'st shared to distant scenes shall stray. O spring, return, return, auspicious May! But sad will be thy coming, and forlorn, if she return not with thy cheering ray, who from these shades is gone, gone, far away.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 21 by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. April 1793. Whose was that gentle voice, that whispering sweet, promised methought long days of bliss sincere? Soothing it stole on my deluded ear, most like soft music that might sometimes cheat thoughts dark and drooping. 'Twas the voice of hope, of love and social scenes it seemed to speak, of truth of friendship, of affection meek, that, oh, poor friend, might to life's downward slope lead us in peace and bless our latest hours. Ah me, the prospect saddened as she sung. Loud on my startled ear the death bell rung. Chill darkness wrapped the pleasurable bowers, whilst horror, pointing to yon breathless clay, "No peace be thine!" exclaimed. Away, away!
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 22 by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Susan Akers. As o'er these hills I take my silent rounds, still on that vision which is flown I dwell, on images I loved, alas how well, now past, and but remembered like sweet sounds of yesterday. Yet in my breast I keep such recollections, painful though they seem, and hours of joy retrace, till from my dream I wake and find them not. Then I could weep to think that time so soon each sweet devours, to think so soon life's first endearments fail, and we are still misled by hope's smooth tale. Who, like a flatterer, when the happiest hours are past, and most we wish her cheering lay, will fly, as faithless and as fleet as they.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 23, Netley Abbey, by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Fallen pile, I ask not what has been thy fate, but when the weak winds, wafted from the main, through each rent arch, like spirits that complain, come hollow to my ear, I meditate on this world's passing pageant, and the lot of those who once full proudly in their prime and beauteous might have stood, till bowed by time or injury, their early boast forgot. They may have fallen like thee, pale and forlorn, their brow besprent with thin hairs white as snow. They lift, majestic yet, as they would scorn this short-lived scene of vanity and woe, whilst on their sad looks smilingly they bear the trace of creeping age and the dim hue of care.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 24 by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Peanut. O harmony, thou tenderest nurse of pain, if that thy notes, sweet magic, e'er can heal griefs which the patient spirit oft may feel, O let me listen to thy songs again, till memory her fairest tint shall bring, hope wake with brighter eye, and listening seem with smiles to think on some delightful dream that waved o'er the charms since its gladsome wing. For when thou leadest all thy soothing strains more smooth along, the silent passions meet in one suspended transport, sad and sweet. And naught but sorrow's softest touch remains that, when the transitory charm is o'er, just wakes a tear and then is felt no more. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 25 How Shall I Meet Thee by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Kelsey Whittington. How shall I meet thee, summer wont to fill my heart with gladness when thy pleasant tide first came, and on each coombe's romantic side was heard the distant cuckoo's hollow bill? Fresh flowers shall fringe the wild brink of the stream, as with the songs of joyance and of hope. The hedgerow shall ring loud, and on the slope the poplars sparkle in the transient beam. The shrubs and laurels which I love to tend, thinking their Maytide fragrance might delight, with many a peaceful charm, thee, my best friend, shall put forth their green shoot, and cheer the sight. But I shall mark their hues with sickening eyes, and weep for her who in the cold grave lies. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 26 by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. How blessed with thee the path could I have trod of quiet life, above cold wants, hard fates, and little wishing more, nor of the great envious, or their proud name. But it pleased God to take thee to his mercy. Thou didst go in youth and beauty, go to thy death-bed, e'en whilst on dreams of bliss we fondly fed, of years to come of comfort. Be it so. Ere this I have felt sorrow, and e'en now, though sometimes the unbidden thought must start, and half unman the miserable heart, the cold dew I shall wipe from my sad brow, and say, since hopes of bliss on earth are vain, best friend, farewell, till we do meet again. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Sonnet 27 on Revisiting Oxford by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. I never hear the sound of thy glad bells, Oxford, and chime harmonious, but I say, sighing to think how time has worn away, some spirit speaks in the sweet tone that swells, heard after years of absence from the vale where Cherwell winds. Most true it speaks the tale of days departed, and its voice recalls hours of delight and hope in the gay tide of life, and many friends now scattered wide by many fates. Peace be within thy walls. I have scarce heart to visit thee, but yet, denied the joys sought in thy shades, denied each better hope, since my poor unknown died, what I have owed to thee, my heart can ne'er forget. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet number 28, written at Malvern, July 11th, 1793, by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Liam Vance. I shall behold, far off thy towering crest, proud mountain. From thy heights as slow I stray, down through the distant vale my homeward way. I shall behold, upon thy rugged breast, the parting sun sits smiling, me the while escape the crowd. Thoughts full of heaviness may visit, as life's bitter losses press hard on my bosom. But I shall beguile the thing I am, and think that even as thou dost lift in the pale beam thy forehead high, proud mountain, whilst the scattered vapours fly unheeded round thy breast, so, with calm brow, the shades of sorrow I may meet, and wear the smile unchanged of peace, though pressed by care. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 29, on the death of the Reverend William Benwell, by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by A. Avanos. Thou camest with kind looks, when on the brink almost of death I strove, and with mild voice did soothe me, bidding my poor heart rejoice, though smitten sore. Oh, I did little think that thou, my friend, wouldst the first victim fall to the stern king of terrors. Thou didst fly, by pity prompted, at the poor man's cry, and soon thyself wert stretched beneath the pall, livid infection's prey. The deep distress of her who best thy inmost bosom knew, to whom thy faith was vowed, thy soul was true, what powers of faltering language shall express? As friendship bids, I feebly breathe my own, and sorrowing say, pure spirit, thou art gone. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 30, on Reviewing the Foregoing, by William Lisle Bowles. Read for LibriVox.org by Patrick Randall. September 21st, 1797. I turn these leaves with thronging thoughts, and say, alas, how many friends of youth are dead! How many visions of fair hope have fled, since first my muse we met! So speeds away life and its shadows. Yet we sit and sing, stretched in the noontide bower, as if the day declined not, and we yet might trill our lay beneath the pleasant morning's purple wing that fans us, while aloft the gay clouds shine. Oh, ere the coming of the long cold night, Religion, may we bless thy purer light, that still shall warm us when the tints decline o'er earth's dim hemisphere, and sad we gaze on the vain visions of our passing days. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. End of Sonnets by William Lisle Bowles.